Hello everyone, this is Zenon and you are watching ZenonTCG. At a first place prize winning deck from Damion, playing the Upper Hand ZenonTCG Battles on 17th of April. He has brought us a straight forward ZacianV build that plays Galarian Perrserker, doing an extra 20 more damage when Galarian Perrserker is on the bench. So if you have multiple Galarian Perrserker, looking at 20 and 20, 40 damage extra, and with the addition of Rusted Sword, you're doing another 30 more damage. So Damion brings us ZacianV, Brave Blade attack 230 plus 40 from the bench for Galarian Perrserker, so that's 270, and with Rusted Sword that makes it a whopping 300 damage potential for ZacianV. Let's see how he goes about doing that. What else is in the deck? There's one copy of Oranguru, one copy of Crobat V, there is one copy of Dedenne GX, doing Dede Change. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. So it's mostly in the early game of the early part of the game. As I mentioned, we have Galarian Meowth that evolves into Galarian Perrserker, Steely Spirit. Your metal Pokemon attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, and these can be stacked. So as I mentioned, 2 on the bench, so an additional 40 more output damage. What else is in the deck? So we have 2 copies of Galarian Meowth and 2 copies of Galarian Perrserker in the deck. There is one copy of Jirachi that does Dreamy Revelation. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand, put the other card back on top of your deck. So each time you do Jirachi, Dreamy Revelation, look at the top 2, yes. And if you have, when Oranguru is there on the bench, you can probably do the swap again with Primate Wisdom. Once during your turn, you may switch a card from your hand with the top card of your deck. That works same way. The main draw engine is no surprise. It is ZacianV, Intrepid Sword ability. Once during your turn, you may look at the top 3 cards of your deck, attach any number of metal energy cards you find there to this Pokemon, put the other cards into your hand. If you use this ability, your turn ends. We're looking at doing 230 for 3 metal energy. There are 4 copies of ZacianV. So ZacianV is the main attacker for the deck. There's Zamazenta V. There are 2 copies of Zamazenta V. Dauntless Shield ability, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon VMAX. A lot of VMAX now in play. So yes, trying to keep VMAX out of their attacking potential. That's why Zamazenta V is in the deck. Also, for True Metal and 1 colorless, Assault Tackle does 130 damage, and the effect can discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. That's 2 copies of Zamazenta V. Trying to keep the bench space safe and also trying to do damage with a single prizer for non-V in case it's a Decidueye deck or Altair deck. So Mew Bench Barrier also prevents all damage to your bench Pokemon by your opponent's attacks and 1 colorless attack. Psi power, put 3 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. Just 1 copy in the deck. And the last Pokemon in the deck is Oricorio GX, Dance of Tribune. Not doing any attack, but mainly for the ability. Drawing once again. Once during your turn before you attack, if your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you may draw 3 cards. If you use this, you can't use more than 1 Dance of Tribute ability each turn. So that's all for Pokemon. There are 16 in the deck. Looking at what trainers we have, starting with items, there's 1 escape rope. Each player switches their active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon. Your opponent switches first. That's to get something out of the active escape rope. You're ready to hit with Zacian because it requires setup. Damion's deck will require setup because of Galarian Mouth has to evolve into Galarian Perrserker. ZacianV has to power up with Intrepid Sword. So the deck needs a little time to build up. Hence Oricorio is there, hence escape rope. There's 1 copy of Great Catcher. You can play this card if you discard 2 other cards. Switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon GX or Pokemon EX with their active and to get some disruption on the board with the Great Catcher. Well, no Zacian build would be complete without Metal Saucers. So there are, no surprise here, 4 Metal Saucers in the deck. Attach a Metal Energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Metal Pokemon. There are 2 copies of Pokemon Communication in the deck because it's an evolution chain for Galarian Perrserker. So Pokemon Communication makes total sense. Quick Ball, 4 copies, trying to get the basics out and trying to get some Metal Energy in the discard pile, 4 copies. So when you play this, when you play this card, you may discard a card from your hand and search your deck for a basic Pokemon, reveal and put it into your hand. There are 3 copies of Switch in the deck to get something out of the active into the bench or something from the bench into the active. 2 copies of Tool Scrapper in the deck. Choose 2 Pokemon tools attached to Pokemon, both yours or your opponent's, and discard them. Very nice. Just some disruption on the board from the opponent's side. Metal Pokemon, there isn't any particular stadium that helps specifically for metal types. So Chaotic Swell is a wise choice from Damion. Whenever either player plays a stadium from their hand, discard that stadium card after discarding this one. So it's just to discard a stadium and keep it on the stadium spot, and any opponent plays a stadium, gets discarded too. Well, that's all for item and stadium. We still have to look at some tools, but going on to supporters, there are 3 bosses orders in the deck. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon, 3 copies. 3 copies of Marnie. So each player shuffles their hands and puts it on the bottom of their deck. If either player puts any cards at the bottom of the deck this way, you draw 5 cards and your opponent draws only 4 cards. So Marnie is here for some disruption in case your opponent has a large hand. You want to get it small size, get it down to a smaller size. Marnie helps out in doing that very effectively, especially with fire decks now. Wow, Marnie is really a disrupting card. The last supporter in the deck, no surprise here, Professor's Research, a staple in every deck. Professor's Research discards your hand and draws 7 cards. So, as I mentioned, a staple in every deck. Now, Zacian has a retreat cost of 2. So, Damion has wisely put in Air Balloons, 2 copies of Air Balloons. The retreat cost of the Pokemon this card is attached to is 2 less. That way Zacian can alternately, if you have another Zacian that's powered up, air balloon, get it in the bench and get the other one powered up into the active. Because once you use Intrepid Sword, the Brave Blade, you cannot use Brave Blade attack during your next turn. Hence you can alternate it to another powered up Zacian in the bench. Rusted Sword, a new addition for metal types. The attacks of ZacianV this card is attached to do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. And since it's a metal type and Zacian is doing Intrepid Sword, it's all basic energy in the deck. 12 copies of basic metal energy. Yes, this was the first place winning deck for the Upper Hand ZenonTCG Battles. Decklist is in the video description.
Thanks for watching ZenonTCG.